Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. We are going to try something new today, and as weird as it sounds, we're going to try dill pickle and garlic pizza. Yeah, I've never had it before either, so this ought to be interesting. There is cold weather moving in tonight, so this is kind of our last hurrah. The temperatures are in the 50s today, so I'm going to try to hurry up and get this done. First of all, we're making the base sauce for it, then we'll come back later and assemble it. For right now, I want to get that out of the way. You know me, I want to do everything ahead of time that I possibly can, so we'll have it all ready to assemble and put in a hot oven when it comes dinner time tonight. But for now, let's go in the kitchen and get our sauce ready for our dill pickle and garlic pizza. We have our saucepan on a burner that's been turned on, so it's heating up a little bit. In our saucepan, we're going to put 2 tablespoons of butter. And if you'll see, I always talk about this. When I take the wrapper off my butter, I just use the back side of a knife and mark where the 1 tablespoon marks are, just in case I have some odd amount left. I'll still know what I'm getting. This is just unsalted butter. To this, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of plain flour. So basically, we're making a roux, which is a fat and a flour and a liquid. Or if you're from the South, that's called gravy. This recipe came from Pinterest. I don't know who to give credit to, or I'd be happy to give credit to them. And I'm going pretty close to what the recipe says, except for my dough. They talk about adding fresh dill to your pizza dough, but number 1, I don't have fresh dill, and number 2, my pizza dough is already made. It's been in the refrigerator for about 4 days. That's when it's perfect. So what I'll do is I'll take a lesser amount of dried dill and add it to my dough as I'm kneading it and rolling it out. To this, we're also going to add, it calls for 3 cloves of minced garlic, but I'm just going to put just a tiny bit over a teaspoon in there. I don't want the garlic to cook a lot. I just want it to be incorporated in there, because if anything can turn people off garlic, it will be to put it in a hot skillet and just cook it and cook it and cook it until it gets brown and kind of loses its flavor and just tastes like something singed to me. But I do love the flavor of garlic otherwise. My burner on my heat is about on medium. So you don't want it too high to singe anything, but you want to be able to cook the flavor of that flour out of it. I know that sounds kind of silly. My grandmother used to talk about cooking the flavor out of the flour, and I'm thinking, then it would just taste like milk. What are you talking about? But I do know what she's talking about now, because I've had things where people didn't actually cook it long enough to where the flour browns a little bit, and it's a little less than desirable. Some people might not even notice it, but you want to give it enough high heat to where it cooks off that floury taste. Normally, if you're making a gravy, you'd say when your flour starts to brown, then it's ready to add your liquid to it. We're going to pour our liquid in. This is a cup of whole milk. We're going to cook this until it's nice and thick. Okay, you know the mixture's starting to get thick when you stir it, and the bubbles or anything solid that you can see stop going around and it pulls back like it's elastic or something. I'm going to turn that heat down just a little bit. In this is a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and we'll put the link to the video where it shows you to make Italian seasoning all from scratch, homemade, with just herbs and seasonings that you might already have on hand. This is a half teaspoon of salt and a half teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper. And that's the same Italian seasoning that we use to make garlic toast and put in anything that calls for Italian seasoning. It's really, really good. The rosemary in it just absolutely is fabulous. All right, I'm going to turn my heat completely off. We're now going to add a cup of freshly shredded Parmesan cheese. Don't get the pre-shredded stuff. I know I say that all the time, but it's got cellulose in it, and it's not worth the convenience. Okay, so this is going to be the base of our pizza. So we'll have our crust, we'll have this sauce, and then we're going to put on some mozzarella, some pickle slices, and then there is a garlic sauce that goes on top, and we'll make that next. So we're going to set that aside, and we won't use that until dinner time. All right, time to make our garlic sauce to drizzle on the top of the pizza and then to serve alongside if there's any left. I'm just going to mix mine up in a 1 cup measuring cup. And the first ingredient is the 4th cup of mayonnaise, and this is just my homemade mayonnaise. This is the fancy jar I keep it in. And this is how I measure a semi-solid product that's not really liquid enough to flow on its own. Just kind of bang it on my hand. So we now have a 1/4 cup. We're also going to need a 1/4 cup of sour cream. Again, same concept. When it all equals a 1/2 cup, because you have 2/4 cups, when it all equals 1/2 cup, that means I have enough in there. You can also bang it on something like a hot pad or something like that. Just don't bang it on the countertop. You're going to wind up breaking your measuring cup. Okay, 1/2 cup. And then I usually do the same to these. It's all about surface area. The less surface area you have, the less space you have for some kind of bacterial growth to grow on there. So I try to flatten it out as much as possible. That worked pretty good. All right. Next ingredient is a clove of minced garlic. And I'll use my spoon that I used in the garlic a while ago. So not a lot, just maybe, I don't know, that much on a teaspoon. You can kind of eyeball it. If you like garlic, use a lot. If you don't like garlic, don't use as much. Next, we need 2 tablespoons of pickle juice. Now, these are the pickles I want to use the juice from. I might opt to use my homemade fermented dill pickles that I made just a few months ago, but this is the juice that I'm going to use from. So this is a great brand of pickles. You know, when I was a kid, a pickle was a pickle. They kind of all tasted the same, but now that I've become the pickle connoisseur, especially with dill pickles. I don't like sweet pickles, but with dill pickles, I love certain brands, and that's one of my absolute favorites. Gonna need that later. Okay, 2 tablespoons, so, which is 1/8 of a cup. I'm not sure why I got those tongs out. I guess I thought I was gonna pick a pickle out of there, but I'm not. And then a teaspoon of dried dill weed. The original recipe called for fresh dill. I don't have fresh dill right now. 2 teaspoons seems like a lot, but I'm going with it. They probably know a lot more about what they're talking about than I do. I've never had this pizza before in my life, so I don't have anything to compare it to. All right, that is all the ingredients in the sauce. We're going to drizzle over the top. Now, I'll just put this in the fridge, and it'll be ready. So really, all we have to do tonight, right before dinner, well, right before cooking dinner, is roll out our pizza crust, add the dill weed to it when we roll it out. Then we're going to put our sauce on there that we just cooked, and it's on the stovetop. We'll put our mozzarella, our pickle slices on it. The recipe says if you want some kind of meat on it, that chicken is fine on this. I don't need any meat. And then you drizzle this on the pizza. I'll have to look at the recipe first, again, because I'm not sure if you drizzle it on before you bake it or after you bake it. So I'll get that straight before we turn our oven on and start the process. All right, I'm going to leave it just like this for the refrigerator, and that'll be ready to use when we get ready to assemble our pizza in just a bit. All right, we are ready to start cooking our pizza. I'm going to turn my oven on 475. Get that preheated. I started cutting up this mozzarella, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to have to explain that I cut this like this instead of slicing it because it's a softer cheese. So anyway, we'll pick up there. So I buy the whole milk mozzarella in a 1-pound block, and it's real soft. See how squishy it is? Super squishy. So it's not like a different block mozzarella like a low fat or skim milk mozzarella. This is whole milk mozzarella, and it just melts so beautifully. I love, love, love using this on pizzas. So instead of grating it, which just gets clumped up in the grater like blobs of cheese in there, I have to just use one of my big knives and slice it into chunks. But it melts so beautifully, you never know that they're in these big squares once the pizza cooks. Now I'm only using 8 ounces of the mozzarella. Of course, that's half of it. But I'll also make twice as much dough as what it takes for one pizza. So normally a pound of mozzarella makes 2 pizzas. But I'm only cooking one of the pizzas tonight. I'll make a different kind, maybe in a day or two. But that dough just gets better the longer it sits in the refrigerator, honestly. Now, if you want to watch a different video of some other pizzas that we've made in the past. We'll link those videos to this as well, so you can go back and look at those if you want. It describes pretty much in detail about how I get it off the counter into the oven, which is kind of a trick, not to me, but when others see it, they go, I would have never thought to do that. And don't ask me how I knew to do that. I don't know how. It's one of those things, it just came to me. I don't know. I'm really not that smart, but those are the things I think about. Most people are trying to, solve world problems, and I'm worried about how to get pizza off the countertop into the oven. All right, I'm going to slice this dough right about in the middle and then stick half of it back in the fridge. Just like that. All right, one of the first things we do is coat this with flour, and I do that by just dipping it in my flour bucket. And it, of course, doesn't get any dough in the flour. All the flour that it touches adheres to the dough, so I'm not worried about having big blobs of dough in my flour. All right, rolling pin. I'll use the heavy one. So when you start preheating your oven to make a pizza, put your pizza stone or a large sheet pan turned upside down on the bottom of the oven. Now, if you can put it on the floor of the oven, that's great. If not, put it on a rack that's on its lowest setting. You just want it in the very bottom part of the oven. And you want your oven super hot. So I have mine at 475. If you want to turn yours up to 500, that's perfectly fine. It's just going to cook faster. We have friends who have a pizza oven in their backyard, and it only has an opening about, seems like it's about this big. I don't really know how big the opening is, but it seems like it's so tiny, and it's really big on the inside, and it makes the best pizzas, but I know that thing has to be over 500 degrees. I mean, there's no way it could be any less than that. It's a lot of heat coming out of that pizza oven, but it's built into this magnificent wall back there. They have the outdoor kitchen. It's just so fun that they entertain a lot of people, and they allow so many people to use their home just to use that backyard kitchen. They used to do the same thing with their swimming pool. They're so generous with their home, and it's got all these fun things in it. Oh shoot, I was gonna put some dill weed in that. I guess I could sprinkle the dill weed over this and kind of roll it into it. It's supposed to have, let's see. Oh, I didn't write that part down. We'll just sprinkle it over that evenly. Okay, this dill weed looks like somebody has shaved their beard over a piece of bread. That's kind of disgusting. But it smells really good. I'll put this back in the drawer because I'm done with that. All right, now, again, go back and look at those other videos where we've made pizza, and it'll give you a more comprehensive instruction on how we do this. But basically, you can see where I'm putting this towel up to the neck of the pizza peel, pulling the rest of it underneath, and tucking it in like that. Now we'll take our dough fold it in half, place it on there where it goes. Okay, so I found out that I went back to Pinterest and looked at the recipe to see if I was supposed to drizzle this sauce on before I baked it or after I baked it. And the site that this came off of is called laurathegastronaut.com. So I want to give that person credit because it's their recipe. All right, that's on there good. All right, here is our sauce that we're going to put on there. That looks like a lot of sauce. I never put a lot of tomato sauce on my pizza. I'd rather have a lot of cheese and toppings, but this looks like a lot of sauce. Man, the smell of this garlic is so good. Oh, it's not a burned garlic smell. It is a fabulous garlic smell. Wow, this is going to be good. So here lately I've been doing several recipes that I've never tried before, but then I do the video for it, and then I just kind of show the picture at the end and say, okay, here's what it looks like. But I don't know yet what it looks like. But if you'll notice, on the last few videos we've done, I've gone back and in the comments, I tell you exactly what I thought about it. And the last ones have been really, really good. I've not made anything bad that I think, okay, this is not good. Or else I would have never put the video on. I would have never released it. I'd have gone, nope. Not worth it. Do not even make people think that's worth it. The things that we've made lately have been so good. So I go in on the comments hoping you'll read those and go, okay, I guess it was really, really good. Look how much that is. That looks like gravy. It actually looks like mashed potatoes piled on here. That is a lot of sauce. But if it tastes as good as it smells, I'm glad there's a lot of sauce. Okay, just giving you a look at how much sauce is on there. That's a lot. Okay, we want to put our mozzarella on there. Your goal is just cover the top of it. Don't have to cover every little speck of it because, like I said, it's going to melt on there. Kind of go together, kind of like cookie dough does when you make cookies. All right, get all those specks on there. Now, we want to take our pickles. I decided to use my home fermented pickles. These are not store-bought pickles, so it was just a friend gave me some organically grown cucumbers, and I made pickles, and we also have a video of that, I'm sure, somewhere in the archives. So if you're interested in making your own pickles, it's not hard, but basically the brine in this is salt and water. There's no vinegar in this. When you ferment things, you don't add vinegar to it. Okay, so we want to get most of the moisture off these and just arrange them on the pizza. These are dill pickles, so they have dill in the brine as well. Fresh, it was fresh dill. I put some peppercorns in there. There's a few slices of jalapeno in there, but mostly it's just cucumbers and salt. Okay, how fun is that? That's so cool. Okay, our oven just beeped. So we're going to put this in. I noticed on the recipe, I went back and looked at it, and it said I'm supposed to drizzle the sauce over it after it comes out of the oven. So we're going to bake this probably for about 10 to 12 minutes is normally what I cook pizzas at. We're going to cook this at 10 to 12 minutes, and then when we take it out, we'll drizzle the sauce over it. So let me make sure that you can see the oven and how I'm doing that. So you're going to grab the tail down here. If you're right-handed, hold it with your right hand, tail down here with your left hand. I'm going to place the back edge of it directly on the pizza stone, and as I'm pulling out with the peel, I'm going to pull the towel as well, and it lands on the pizza stone. So you can see that. And I'll set the timer for 10 minutes and check it after that. I don't want it to burn. This is going to be good. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, it's ready. Okay, we've got our peel. Make sure you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to grab the edge of the pizza with these tongs and pull it out onto this. We had some cheese trying to escape. Whoa, look at that. Woo! Okay, see what I mean about it covers the whole thing? It really, really covers the whole pizza. It just kind of melts together. All right, we're going to take our sauce. And it says to just drizzle this on. I really don't think there's a specified amount because they said any that's left over, you can use it to like dip the pizza in. Let me tilt this down a bit so you can see it. Okay, you can always put more on it, but you can't put less. So I'm going to call that done. And then we have this amount left, so probably at least half of what we started with to use as a dip. And if we don't want to use it as a dip, I can always make another pizza and use that as my drizzle on the top. Oops. Ooh, that's yummy. Okay, there you go. There's what we got. Look in the comments and see if it was everything I expected it to be, because it smells really, really good. All right, this is our dill pickle and garlic pizza. So, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. There's our salad. There's our pizza. We're ready to eat. See ya. Bye.